Hello and welcome back to my studying, welcome back to Wheel of Time. Today we will be reviewing Path of Daggers, fully, the whole book. So this is the 8th book in the series by Robert Jordan. And before we start, I would like to thank Ethan and Jocelyn for their Patreon support. And also I'd like to thank everyone for the support and ask that you, if you enjoy the videos, subscribe and like them, because it helps this channel to grow. Now that's out of the way, let's see what this book was about. So the girls use the ball to fix the weather. This subplot is resolved, and then we have Elaine, who arrives to Camelin to proclaim herself the queen. We also have Rand engaging Seanchan in battle, trying to get him out of Abu Dar, and succeeding to a point. And then we have rebels traveling to Tar Valon to begin the siege, because Egwene is fully trying to fulfill her ambition of retaking the Emerald seat. And lastly but not least, Fail is being captured by the Shido. Let's compare and contrast what I expected from this book and what I got. So I expected more Forsaken. We're 8 books in, and this point I expected for them to have more impact on the plot, direct impact. They are working from the shadows, but they still are pretty sparse in their opposition. Now that may be to due Jordan's focus on the conflict between the nations that are trying to organize themselves against the final battle, the Doomsday, and so forth. But that's what I expected. What I got was, just on a purely technical level, I got a shorter book, much shorter book. It's probably the shortest in the series, and it's also pretty much the opposite of the last one in its execution. If the last book was a crescendo to a previous build-up, this is kind of a setup book fully. We have a setup to Savannah becoming a major villain. We have a setup to Elviaren extending her influence over the Tower and Elaine. We have a setup to Egwene retaking Tar Valon. We have a setup to potentially Rand losing his mind and things of that nature. But that doesn't mean I didn't like it. Let's see what I liked. Well, the most important thing here is that I feared that the renewed focus on Rand, because this book has focused on Rand quite strongly. I fear that focus on Rand and Lewis Theron, this duality in his head, might get old quickly, and I'm happy to say that I was wrong. The interplay of conflicting memories, of conflicting attitudes, of varying degrees of lucidity, they all contribute to the uniqueness of this relationship, to the uniqueness of Wheel of Time, to the conceit of Wheel of Time, of past lives and the cycle they all go through. So on that front, A+. Now let's see what I didn't like, what I didn't care for. Well, I mentioned this in a previous video, but I didn't like Massima, and I think that subplot is redundant, and I hope it gets resolved as quickly as possible. And I didn't like drama, some of the drama, not all, about Elaine's court. But let me expand on Massima. So when he appeared as a character and turned into this prophet, I was under the impression that he is a madman, that he is a fanatic, a radical who was seduced by this grandeur around the Dragon Reborn, not by Rand's fault. But the more I read about him, especially in this book, it feels like he's here to stay. and I don't think there's that much room for him narratively. I'm sure that Jordan will not disappoint me. I hope he won't, but I just feel like it's too much for what's about. And another thing that I didn't like, well, almost a complete absence of Matt. I would like more Matt in this book. We did get Perrin, which was nice, but I would have liked more Perrin and Matt. And also, maybe I'm just nitpicking, but I don't feel like I'm nitpicking because this really threw me off. Logain's moment of bonding one of the Aes Sedai, the way he did it, the no consent, that was just pretty out of the left field to me. And I'm not sure how to feel about that. So far this is the third instance of this sort of discomfort from the books that I got, which is not to say it's automatically takes it down. I'm just unsure what Jordan's intentions are, because we had Alana's bonding of Rand, which was presented as assault almost. Then we had an actual assault on Matt. And then we have Logain, who is presented as so far a decent character, forcibly kissing and bonding someone against their will, which is not great. And predictions. Let's start off with Fail. Well, the kidnapping of Fail will not be resolved quickly. That's what I think. More than that, I have a feeling that the freeing of Fail will replace the Bowl of Winds as a subplot, because the Bowl of Winds as a subplot has been an important subplot through several books. It didn't get resolved in a single one. And I feel that this will be the same. I do hope I'm wrong on this, because Fail is not one of my favorite characters. I do like Perrin a lot, but we'll see. Another prediction is Moraine will reappear. I hope she does. At least a setup to her reappearance might be nice. Then I have a prediction about Elaine. She will be crowned the queen. I think that's a foregone conclusion, but there might be some drama surrounding her status, whether that's potential marriage to Rand or some other political or familiar obligations that she has to fulfill, expectations to fulfill, something along those lines. I just hope it isn't a relationship drama between her and Rand. And lastly, Egwene will hopefully have a scene or a square off against Elida. I hope. And as a final verdict, well, the biggest flaw of this enjoyable book is that it's all pretty much set up. Fortunately, the setup is engaging and it's worth reading, because the promise of delivery that Jordan has proven to be capable of doing is real and tangible. So 4 stars. Thank you. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. Bye-bye.